Not long ago, somebody asked me about saving and finding files that had been saved in their embroidery machine. I'm sorry I can't find your name amongst the comments at the moment, but hopefully this will solve your problem. G'day, I'm Sharyn and welcome. Going to look today at how you save a file that you've made into your sewing machine or onto a USB. And in doing that, it can then be used in another Janome or Elna machine. Hope this helps. This particular machine is a Janome 15,000. If you've got any of the other Janomes, the icons remain the same. They won't be in the same position, but they will remain the same. Firstly, I am changing this machine from being in regular sewing mode into embroidery mode. I'm not opening the carriage arm because I only want to play in the edit screen, so I don't need it open. But I still want to switch to embroidery mode because I want to play with these things. This is on the home screen for embroidery at the moment. Somewhere around here or in the next page you will find an arrow coming out of a folder. So this is where you go to get things out of folders. In this particular case I'm looking at the USB number 2. This is what's in the machine. There's an embroidery folder. My USB 1 is the one that I set up in my how to load USBs for the 550E. And this one is the designs that are on the Janome 1835 design CD. Weirdly, what I want is in the flower series, and it's actually some strawberries. So the machine has now taken it to the ready to sew screen, but that's not where I want it. I can't sew at the moment because I don't have the embroidery arm open, but I want to play with this design and add things to it. I'm going to the home screen and the edit screen, and there is my design. The machine has chosen an appropriate sized hoop to put the design into. So the 14 by 14 centimetre or 140 by 140 millimetre. And it's lumped it right down in the middle, as it always does, because that's what these machines do. It puts them into the middle of a hoop. I want to add some writing to this design. So I'm going to go to the home screen and the ABC, and in medium size I'm going to put kitchen. And OK. That's obviously come in on that line, and I'm going to move it down now so it will still be centered. And that gives me a little bit of space between the bottom of the strawberries and the word. I want to put different people's names at the top of this, but this is already a very good start. So I can save this while I'm in my edit screen by checking out where I can find the opposite of this. This one is an arrow coming out of a folder. I need to find an arrow going into a folder. And there it is, arrow going into a folder. The machine has defaulted to saving this on the machine. It prefers to have designs inside folders, and it's given it a name, M001. I'm going to change the name to template. And OK. Now at this stage I have not saved the design. All I've done is changed that name from M001 to template. I need to tell it where I want to save it, and I want to save it in here. There are obviously a few other things that I have put in here, and now that I'm in that embroidery folder I could save it. Alternatively though, if these things are going to be confusing for me, I might want to save it somewhere else. So let's go up and I want to make a new folder to put it in. Down at the bottom I have a folder with a star on it. So I can do that, and I'm making a new folder, and I'm going to call it Tea Towels. Now the machine will only let me make this a certain length, and that's as much as it will let me do. Okay, so you can see I've now got a new folder, and this is a folder on the sewing machine. I can take my template, put it in the folder called Tea Towels, and OK. So this has now been saved into the folder called Tea Towels on the machine. I can also save it and do the same thing. USB 1 I know has already got all of my quilting designs on it, and I don't really want to save it in there, so I'm going to put it into a different USB. I'm going to pull out the one that's in USB 1 at the moment and put in USB 1. I've got some random things in here, and I'm going to make another new folder, and I can do this in here, so I can make tea towels. Okay. Now this is on the USB, it's not on the machine. We've already saved it onto the machine. So I'm going to go in here. I'm not going to change the name of it this time, I'm just going to leave it as it is, as M001, and OK. If I remove both of the USBs from the machine now, and I'm going to turn the machine off, when I turn it back on, it's going to ask me if I want to resume the last pattern. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go and see if we can find on the machine, having taken the USBs out, if we can find that template. So I go arrow coming out of a folder, we're looking at the machine, we're looking at the folder called Tea Towels, and there it is. You can actually see the design. Some of the Janome machines you will not be able to see what the design looks like, and then it's much more important to put a name on it. But for here, this is fine. I'm going to open that, and it gets taken into the Ready to Sew screen. I want to do some more with this though. I'm going to go Home, Edit Screen, and now I'm going to put my name over the top. So we're going to go Home, Alphabet, and I'm still in medium, Gothic's fine. Sharyn's. Now we could just move this to the top, but we have the option to arc it, and we can arc it this way. That's actually moved it quite a long way away from the strawberries. So I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to move that design down a bit. So I've made one design. I'm going to save this one now also onto the machine. So we know that we need to be in the place where we've got an arrow going into a folder. There it is. We're going to put it in the folder called Tea Towels. I'm going to change it from M001 and just put my name on it. And when I say OK, remember at the moment I still haven't saved it. I have only changed the name of the design. I still need to save it, and I do that by coming down here to OK. While I'm here, I can bin that one and put somebody else's name there. Home Screen, Alphabet, move it, arc it, and move that down, and OK. Whoops, I didn't save that one. I've sent it to the Ready to Sew screen and I don't want it there, I want to save it. We're getting out of that, we're going back to the home screen and into the edit screen. It's there. Arrow into a folder. It's going into the folder called Tea Towels and I want to rename it as Kerry. OK. That's only changed the name. I need to go OK again, and there it is. I've made a few more. They're on the memory of the machine, and if we go in here now you can see there's a few of them. But I want to put them onto a USB so that I can use them in a different machine, not just this one. So I'm going to take one of those designs. I need to tell the machine back into the edit screen, and I need to save it again. So I need to come back to this arrow going into a folder, and instead of looking at the machine I need to look at the USB, tea towels. I've got one in here, I don't know what it is. That's actually my template one, I think. So I'm going to change the name here to Jan. Okay, remember that only changes the name, it doesn't save it until I do that. And I can then do that with all of the others and put them onto the USB so that I can use them in a different machine. If I go back to the page of designs that are saved into my machine, I can put lots of different folders in here. So if I was making a particular quilt, I might decide to start a folder for that quilt. Maybe it would be a rose quilt. You'll notice that it ran out of space. That's just the way it is. 8 is usually enough. So I could have a bunch of designs that I'm doing for some particular quilt, or maybe I'm doing something for a sports club and I want to do all the names the same. Make a folder to put them in, and that will make your job a lot easier when you go to find things again. I have just deleted the tea towels folder from the machine. And if I want to delete this rose quilt one, I hit the bin and then that. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes, I do. Let's go and see if we can find where those designs are now. Out of there, to remember, in order to get a file out of a folder, we come down and find the arrow that's coming out of a folder. I know it's not here. That's the memory of the machine, and I've taken that folder out of here. USB 1, tea towels, and there they all are. So I can take this USB now out of this machine, and as long as I'm putting it back into a Janome or Elna that takes USBs, these designs can be got from the USB and stitched. And that's precisely what I did. I took this USB key out of my 15,000 where I'd been putting the designs, and I plugged it into my MB4, which is a semi-industrial machine with 4 needles on it. And I stitched this. These make really lovely little Christmas gifts, very personalised, and for anyone who has an unusual name, which you can never find in the commercially produced things, you can give a nice personalised gift. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.